the presence of this unidentified...
So episode 2 was very claustrophobic, very small in comparison to episode 1, which had the cars upturned, everything. We're just in one room, this room, in fact.
Yeah.
All 4 of us, the crew, everyone. This episode really adds the layers of the characters. They just grow and blossom.
It kind of cements the relationship, doesn't it, between...
Well, yeah.
So you see, okay, you see a possible relationship between, for instance, you and Nicole, and then, you see how we all interact and get on with each other.
Wait! What about my parents? I have to see them. Could they come too?
Our characters didn't really get on, did they? I mean, at the beginning, we kind of start our scene, and actually, I think it was in this room here.
It was.
And we just kind of clashed for lots of different reasons. I think I was perhaps overly sensitive, and you were totally, you weren't tolerating anything that I was kind of throwing at you and put a guard up.
Yeah.
Which was, caused all sorts of
I
friction.
think that's exactly it. It was a tolerance thing. I feel that Nicole is very much, she doesn't like to show weakness. She likes to sort of be in control of what's happening. And your character initially has that about her. She's quite vulnerable, or she seems to be.
Yeah.
And I think that there, as you say, it was just a personality clash. It was a bit awkward from an acting perspective because you just meet a new actress and obviously you want to get on really well, and then you jump straight in with scenes where you're basically being a bit nasty to one another, particularly my character towards her character of Chloe. One of my favourite kind of bits, I hope it comes across, is actually that moment where Nicole actually has a little bit of respect for the character of Chloe. It's just a slight thing, it's that she kind of almost meets her match, and at that point she's like, okay, I'm going to back off this woman a little bit, and I just think that's a really nice moment for both of us, really.
Police and other officials are asking people to return to their homes and wait there until they receive further instructions.
We were really lucky, actually, on that episode to get Ian Axton to actually play our news reporter and do the news read for us. Of course, we didn't actually have him on the day. We had green screen pasted over the top of the TV. We had our stills photographer with the script just reading, and there has been reports of looting, which of course we were all trying to react to. So total contrast to episode 1. Not only is it a dramatic episode instead of an action-packed one, but also whereas in 1, everything we're supposed to be reacting to was actually happening in front of us. We had people running around, we had the car turned upside down. 2, we had none of that, so we're just having to try and imagine, all of this stuff. But yeah, I think having Ian doing that news report was fantastic because it really gave the show a bit of a sense of scale. Because obviously it is a low budget show and we are focused on this small group of characters, so we can't necessarily cut wide and show this big riot happening in a city, but as much as possible we wanted to just give little glimpses of that. And I think the news report does that. It tells you that there's other stuff going on, but also the fact that it is this real news reader gives it that kind of sense of gravitas and realism that you wouldn't have otherwise had.
I think every episode has at least one thing that does that as well. You've got the cars in the first episode, you've got newsreader, you've got the trolley set there and so forth. It really has that layer.
Yeah, I mean, I remember actually hearing in the edit when we first, because we shot Ian much later, and I remember when we added him in the edit, watching it with his voice over the top, it just felt, oh my god, this feels real, and intercut with everybody's reactions, it was great.
There's a real contrast between episodes 1 and 2 already. I mean, there's 10 episodes and already so much has happened. Do we even talk? I don't think we even look at each other in episode 1. I mean,
I don't think my character looks at anyone. I think she's just...
You're just disgusted, aren't you? But, we've got this big opening scene. Obviously, it's got to make an impact on its audience.
It was really exciting. I don't know if you felt the same when I first actually turned up to set. Shooting on this big road called the Road to Nowhere. It basically looks like a disused motorway. So you've got all the supporting artists there with their cars as well, simulating this big car crash. And it was just really exciting to see something on that scale, to see these smashed cars. First of all, you're amazed that everything sort of come together the way it has, because when you read the script, you're thinking, okay, really? Okay, let's see what happens there. But turned up and it just completely delivered.
Nicole, what about you? Have you got anyone you need to see?
No. Your mother was mainly family.
In relation to episode 2, once again, it was just really nice to work with the other actors again, but without the background artists. Not that we didn't enjoy working with them, but just to spend that day just with the kind of focal characters of the show.
1 is so hectic that you don't really get a sense of how people are related to one another or what they think of one another, and so 2 gave us much more of a chance to kind of play with that and show how some of the characters are connected.
And also 2, if I'm right in thinking, it was the first time we had actually all been in the room together filming together.
And in fact one of the only times.
From an acting perspective, drama-wise, it was just really nice to do those reactions, but also to witness how convincingly everyone else was. I mean, just looking at the other cast members, I was like, you know, they believe this as much as I do, and that gave me a really good boost of confidence about how the show was going to go.
Where we go from here as a city and as a nation is anyone's guess.